back to another video, guys. To those new viewers out there, my name is Abhishek, and in this week's video I'll be highlighting 3 key messages from a book called Show Your Work, which is written by an author named Austin Kleon. So yeah, stay tuned and let's get into it. Message 1, it's a quote from the book. The author states, documenting your work through, whether that be through an audio recorder, a notebook, journaling, or taking photographs at different stages of your life. I think the message I took away from this is that you're constantly documenting the progression of your work, whether you start off as a novice or in between, and you continue to see a gradual improvement as throughout each stages. And by documenting it, you're making that commitment in front of the world that you want to sort of learn that skill and sort of want to improve it as you go along. And I think one of the reasons that I decided to open a blog channel or even create a YouTube channel is to make that commitment in front of the world and try to improve and try to improve by 1% each day and see the gradual improvement. And I think it's a great way to sort of look back, in 3-4 years time, thinking back, right, I started off as a rookie and now I'm at this stage, whatever that stage may be in the future. But yeah, that's message 1, document your life. Message 2 is about an idea called being a storyteller. Now the author emphasizes that if you want to share your work with the world, you need to be a good storyteller, and in doing so, you need to know how to prepare a story and how to deliver one. I think the reason I wanted to share this message is because it's the second time I've sort of come across a book where the emphasis on storytelling has been such highly emphasized. And the first book was in a book called Superhuman Social Skills, and it was written by an author named Tynan. I'll leave the link below for you guys to check it out. And I think that book emphasizes on a structure of how to tell a story. I recently came across a book called Storyworthy, in which the author, Matthew Dix, emphasizes that we can sort of improve that skill by adapting to this idea called Storyworthy of the day, which is basically each day has an element of a story, in which he states that people can reflect on their day, and as they reflect, they can write 3-4 sentences perhaps of a story. And it's a good way of doing a reflection, and I think that's something I've adopted to in my sort of day-to-day routine. And I've been practicing this for past week, using a standard calendar in Notion, and then sort of write down a few notes. And I think that's been quite helpful, because I can recall back what I've done, what was the story of, I don't know, like on 10th of May. I can recall the whole experience, the key element, where I've written down a short 3-4 sentences and made it as a story that I wanted to sort of express. Yeah, so message 2 is be a storyteller. Yeah. Right, message 3 from the book. It's another quote from the author. I'll have to read this one out just to give you guys a clear picture. Now, the way I've labeled it, it's called the vampire test. A way of identifying who you should let in and out of your life. If after hanging out with someone you feel worn out and depleted, the person is a vampire. If after hanging out with someone you still feel full of energy, that person is not a vampire. Of course, the vampire test works on many things in our lives, not just people. You can apply it to jobs, hobbies, places, etc. Now, the author expresses this quite simply. I won't digress into giving out any other information. I think the takeaway message from this is that we often find ourselves, investing our time and energy and money into things that don't really have any progress into it. The idea of sunk cost bias sort of sinks in. I initially came across this idea in a book called The Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. The takeaway message from this was that often we find ourselves in a position where we are investing our time and energy into things, and we sort of just need to be selfish with that, and sort of take account for what is important, and not digress and put our energy into things that really doesn't have a long-term effect. So yeah, so that's message 3, the vampire test. It's not towards people, it can be towards anything you apply in your life. So yeah, that's a wrap to the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you took away any of the key messages you thought were important to you. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in next week's video. Thank you, and have a good day.